everybody was involved. That was the next generation. That was the next generation that was supposed to carry the Warriors. You get the number 2 pick, you get the number 7 pick, and then whatever Moody was, I don't recall. So I'm saying is that you get all of that with your older guys, and you're like, oh, this is supposed to carry us. This is what we've talked about, the younger generation. So everyone was involved. I don't say that, oh, well, that wasn't Dunleavy's pick, so that he's not getting an opportunity, but Podziemski is. Steve Kerr was involved in picking these guys. Bob Myers, Lacob was involved because this was the shift for the franchise. So that's the only place that I'll push back when you say, oh, he wasn't this pick, so he's not getting the opportunity. Steve Kerr drafted him. Bob Myers drafted him. Lacob drafted him, right? All these guys drafted them, and it's just not working out the way they would like.
Let me ask you a question. How do you view, because I never asked you this and I never heard your side, how do you view Jonathan Kuminga as a player? What do you think his ceiling is? Like, when you watch a player like that, what do you see? Like, is his ceiling all-star? Is his ceiling all-NBA? Is you looking at him as a role player that's going to have a hell of a career? Like,
this is what I look at him, and I think you can see the similarities. I look at Jalen Green. Or is it Jalen Green? Jalen Green? Yes, in Houston, now in Phoenix currently, right?
Yes.
All of the talent in the world. All of the talent. But still needs more hours to learn how to play basketball. It needs to learn more like an IQ. All of the talent is there. If you're Houston, why would you trade this young kid that can average 20? He was the number 2 pick. He's developing skill-wise and talent-wise, is developing into a 20-point-a-game scorer. You don't just give up on them, or you don't. But there's still so much growth and maturity that needs to take place there in Jalen Green. But all of the talent is there, and you know he's there. I look at Jonathan Kuminga as the exact same. And when I look at Steph Curry is one of the most unique players to play with. There is a flow state. There is an understanding. There is a seeing things before things happen. There is you got to just keep moving it. There is a flow to playing with Steph Curry that's unique to other players. So your basketball IQ has to be fairly high because you're trying to maximize this superstar once in a generation player. I don't think his basketball IQ is bad, but I don't know he wants to prove, but Steph Curry's moving around. That's who you got to find and hit. If you're trying to prove, which you might be, but Steph Curry's moving around, both of those things don't mesh. Right? Steph Curry, we've said it, the way he plays and the movement and the movement offense with Draymond's so quick with those dribble handoffs. He's so quick with the pass cut, do this. Their movement offense is almost a flow state without thinking. And if you have a young player that's trying to develop and prove something within the flow state, that is very, very hard. So if he was in a place where he could grow and play, I think he's a 20-point-a-game scorer, 18 to 20-point-a-game scorer. I think he's an all-star caliber player. But in that system, that is not the best flow. And I'll give you one last example. Joe Johnson, when he was in Phoenix, I want to say he averaged like 15 points a game. But they recognized that he was playing 30 minutes a game at 15 points a game. Atlanta gave him all the money, and then he turned into ISO Joe. Then he turned into a 25-point-a-game scorer. James Harden was a 6-man in in OKC. He goes and turns into Super James in Houston. So maybe he does need a different place, but I think the way the Warriors are playing, it didn't mesh with what individual goals are, and he's already won a championship. So he ain't trying. It ain't all about the team. It's about the bag.
Yeah, I agree, but I still think the Warriors are treading in dangerous waters when it comes down to this Kuminga situation, because we all could agree that this window with Steph and Jimmy and Draymond is probably max 2 years,
3 years, 3 years.
All right, so what's next after that? Or the Warriors are not even thinking after that. My thing is this, right? And I say this like. And I look at it, take this for example. And we know it's different, but okay, Richard, you started at ESPN right? You've been at ESPN for a while. Allie, I've been at ESPN for a while, right? We basically had to work our way to where we at today, right? A lot of hurdles, a lot of politics, a lot of getting called into the principal office because we said some shit that didn't ruffle the feathers. Richard didn't been there, I didn't been there, right? Like, we didn't have these conversations like, all right, man, keep your head in front of it, move on, right? So I always look at it like this. I look at it like, at ESPN, like, you basically drafted a Richard Jefferson and a Kendrick Perkins. You developed them through your system, right? Through your system and how you go about doing things. And you elevated them to the top where Richard now is calling play-by-play in the NBA Finals, right? Like, game, like at the highest level. You got me on countdown. Like, why would you give up on him? That's the same way I'm looking at Jonathan Kuminga. You drafted this young man. Ever since you drafted him, you never had to question anything about it. We've never heard reports about him working hard. He works his ass off. He's gotten better every single season. Did he take a step back last season? Absolutely he did.
I think some of that was a contract stress.
Right. Contract, Jimmy, he was injured, all that. But if you go and look at his points per game, it started elevating. Before last year, it was 16 points per game. Last year, 14 points per game. And now it's like, my thing is when you draft a guy in the lottery, because here's my thing. Everybody is always, when a trade is coming about, Allie, even with the Lakers, right? The Lakers are now holding on to these fucking picks. Everybody want to hold on to picks. Everybody was talking about New Orleans got an F for a grade because they gave up a pick from last year because they for next year because they traded up because they wanted to go get the guys that they wanted. If you value picks that much, but then when they get to the point that you actually use those picks and you draft guys in the lottery and you have a guy that is showing you that he has a promising future, and your guys that are the franchise guys only have max a 3-year window when you have a 20, 22, 23-year-old that's showing you that, like, I'm capable of being a 20-point scorer, why not invest into this young man? Like,
But this is what I'm expressing to you. I am not saying that they are not investing, but again,
I'm saying not the dollar part, Jay.
I understand. What I'm saying is you're still looking at it as a parent. You've got to look at it sometimes and say, what kid? And I'll put 60% on the Warriors, but I'm still going to put 40% on him. What could he be doing differently? You gotta ask that question, Perk. Steve Kerr has won 10 championships. He won 3 with the Bulls, some with the